Mr. Dharmarajan's professional journey was coincidental with the growth of tech sector in India, and it wouldn't be wrong to say that his trajectory and that of the tech sector, especially MSC software, were parallel to each other. So I will leave the stage to you, Dharmarajan.
Thank you, Sadaf. Thank you so much for the nice introduction. I just wanted to say namaskaram to all. Thank you for this opportunity, White Page Leadership, to help me to speak in this conclave. Before I start my presentation, I really want to thank Vaibhav for a fantastic presentation to kick off this session of the whole conclave. And especially I like this topic on why bet on India. And he showed a lot of parameters as to why the whole world should bet on India. I mean, we not only have the people, we have the processes, and we have the technology to really kind of grow in a big way. And the best part is we have the whole youth. We have the largest population in the youth sector who can actually grab the opportunities that are there. The only thing is we need to understand that the technology is getting disrupted in a big way, and we have to ensure that the youth is fully skilled in some of these modern technologies and they kind of take advantage of it, and Hexagon is also playing a big role in that aspect. So let me just share my screen. I would really like somebody to confirm that they can actually see my screen. uh, okay. So my whole topic is the smart manufacturing, because uh, can anybody, can Sadaf, anybody confirm that yes, you can see the screen, right? Yeah. Okay. I Okay, so my whole concept is manufacturing is definitely going to play a big role in helping India to grow. We saw a lot of parameters which in Vaibhav's presentation about the various aspects of the capex cycle, the commodity cycle, the debt to GDP ratio, the credit offtake to the GDP. We have a lot of parameters, and I think everything is aligned. And I believe the stars are really aligned. And manufacturing is going to play a big role for our economic growth. And the government has started a program where they want to include, today manufacturing contribution to the GDP is roughly about 12 to 15%. They want to take it to 30%, and that's a huge jump and huge aspiration, but definitely we can actually fill it. Why we are talking of smart manufacturing? Because normally what happens is each country leapfrogs the other country, gets into a different phase, and I think this is very very critical for us. Smart manufacturing or industry 4.0 or autonomy, as I really kind of call it, will really kind of help the manufacturing sector in the country to uh, leapfrog a lot of economies in the marketplace. Now we are always we always perceive that any change is happening in a linear way because we are so busy in our quarterly performances, and we kind of focusing on some of the short term activities. We know that the change is coming, but the perception always we believe that the change is linear. But in reality, the change is actually happening in an exponential way, and the gap between what is happening in the realistic and what is happening in a perception, some people may treat it like a stress or a disruptive stress or a disruption. Some people may treat it like an opportunity. So this is where we are going to kind of differentiate the men from the boys. The people who are going to really see this gap as an opportunity are going to take advantage of this whole disruption that is happening. Second thing, what is really important is labor growth is actually reducing. We need to understand that as and when the country gets developed, the people always want to take a higher, maybe slowly there'll be some migration from blue collar to white collar. People want to upgrade their lifestyle. So it is very important that going forward, we may not have the labor to do some of the repetitive tasks which is happening today in the factory floor or in the plant or whatever. And this is also not only one of the catalysts for us to ensure that we actually start manufacturing in a smarter way with less number of people, use automation, and wherever repetitive tasks can be taken care, you don't really kind of need humans out there. And but we still need human skills in a higher skill kind of an activity for us to grow this whole manufacturing. So we are not saying that we reduce the number of people, but increase the number of people, but deploy them in those areas where the human creativity can be utilized and grow in an exponential way, as we talked about earlier. Now, there is a very interesting paper from Capgemini. Over the last 30 years, the quality, the growth, CAGR growth in quality has only been 0.44%. I repeat, it is just 0.44%, and the productivity also has just been increasing by 0.74%. This is astonishing for many people. While we perceive that a lot of things have happened in the last 30 years, but this is the reality. And the same paper, they kind of also mentioned that whereas in the next few years, in the next 5 years, we expect the quality to grow by about 5.13% and productivity to about 5.04%, which is essentially 12 times what we grew in the last 30 years in quality and what we grew in productivity. And this is where Hexagon as an organization actually plays a big role. And I just want to mention, just to give you a brief about what exactly we do in various industries. If you really look at it, let me just see, I'm not able to change my slide. Yeah. So if you really look at it, in the 95% of all the cars that is there in the marketplace, Hexagon has technology is there. 90% of all the aircraft that is produced in the marketplace has some Hexagon technology, and 75% of all the smartphones has Hexagon technology, and roughly 80% of all the orthopedic implants has Hexagon technology. So this is what Hexagon is doing in a worldwide activity. So just to give you a brief as to how the manufacturing industry is proceeding. So we have this industry 1.0, mechanization, mass production. Then we started automating the process. Then we started connecting all the things together. And then our tagline in Hexagon is enabling an autonomous future. What is autonomy? Autonomy, I really kind of call it as a cognitive automation. How we as a human have become smarter? Now, we are all cricket fans, and how do we ensure that when the batsman hits the ball, the fielder decides what should be the pace of his run, and how should he reach out his hand so that he catches the ball properly. So there is a cognitive action. He takes some action, and there is a learning, and constantly he gets better and better on that. So now today with hyperconnectivity, there is so much of data that is being produced in the factory. Can we use this data and automate in an intelligent way? So essentially, can we put the ultimate usage of all this data that is getting generated and have an autonomous factory? And this autonomy can happen in mobility, autonomy can happen in a plant, autonomy can happen in a factory. So the various ways, it could be buildings, it could be cities. So this is where Hexagon is actually growing, really build an autonomous future, essentially cognitive automation or intelligent automation, as you kind of call it. So, as a person responsible for architecting and implementing Industry 4.0 in your, what are you looking for in a solution today and in the future? This is a question that I really have for the audience out there. So, these are the questions we ask for various companies, and we kind of get this kind of an answer. We kind of get this kind of an answer. So they want to ensure that they compile and leverage the data to obtain insights into design and manufacturing. They also want to ensure that the ramp up for the future is critical with the sustained management support and integrate system. Essentially, we have to have the shop floor and the top floor to be completely integrated so that everybody is seeing the single version of the truth wherever it is, whether the part is in the design and engineering phase or in the manufacturing phase or in the inspection phase. We can kind of ensure that everybody is looking the latest version of truth. Now, Capgemini has also kind of spoken about 68% of the organization had an ongoing smart factory projects. But very, very interestingly, we had uh, initially about only 14% were really kind of successful. So why everybody were not really successful? Because we need to look at when you really want to make the whole plant factory, a whole manufacturing process smartly. We need to ensure that there's a convergence of IT and the OT, which is operational technology, and people are skilled in a proper way. And there's a cross-functional profile between engineering, manufacturing, and maintenance. And this is what was very, very critical: efficiency by design and effectivity with the operations. Can we have design for quality? Can we address the quality issues upfront, and can we maximize the productivity? Is a question that people are asking. So, how do we really achieve this? We have this traditional automation pyramid in the manufacturing sector today, where you have the field input outputs, SCADA, MES, and PLM. And we need to ensure that we go from automation pyramid to a smart manufacturing pyramid, where we not only have the automation pyramid in the base, but also have a digital process transformation and ensure that we converge, we create an engineering convergence of all the divisions in the organization. So if you really look at it, there are three major divisions in any organization, which is design and engineering, which is manufacturing or production, or which is metrology and inspection, and you have the factory operations as well. So the whole idea is we want to ensure that all these divisions are not operating in silos, but the information is exchanged. And as is design and engineering is designing the part, so we have this as designed part. Production engineering is actually manufacturing the parts as manufacture the part, and metrology inspection engineering is actually measuring the part. So we want to ensure that we connect all these things to a digital thread. We have done this in many organizations where we help the customer to ensure that yes, as designed part, as manufactured part, as measured part is one and the same. So the whole concept is how do we ensure that we have a real connection between the physical world and the digital world. This is what I call Hexagon as a phygital company, where it's not only physical, it's also digital. We've got a lot of hardware. So if you're starting with a greenfield plant, greenfield factory, you can start in a digital world and then implement in a physical world. But if you want to upgrade your existing physical factory, you can start in the physical world, scan all these things, and then go ahead and modify in the digital world and come back to this whole thing. So just to give a brief perspective about some of the tangible benefits, and these are all recorded information about the savings that they have got, the increase in the reliability, accuracy and fidelity of the whole process, and what exactly has happened. They were able to get the products right the first time, and also get to the market the fastest time. The whole product development cycle, right from concept stage to ultimately to the mass production stage, is kind of getting drastically reduced. If you take the mobile phone today, people are changing the phone almost once every year. So can you just imagine that the mobile phone companies have to produce new phones, in less than a year? Well, maybe about 2 3 years later, it was maybe about 2 year cycle or a 3 year cycle. But today, everybody has to compress. Maybe in about 2 3 months, one has to design a new mobile phone completely. So this whole concept, the reduction in OpEx, margin, increasing of labor productivity, these are all the many value creation, sustainable value creation that happens once you start implementing Industry 4.0 or smart manufacturing. So going forward is going to be a two-speed world. People who are going to not change, they would actually kind of go down, and people who take this opportunity, they are the innovators, and they're going to see a massive increase in their profitability, and they are going to play a real role in contributing to the Indian GDP. So I would essentially say that we have a choice whether to become a non-innovator or an innovator. And I would end my presentation to say, let's choose to be the innovators. And there is an opportunity out there, and we in the industry have to take advantage of the technologies that are available, ensure that we skill our team with all these new technologies, and start using this technology to get the product out there right the first time and in the shortest possible time, and take advantage, because the global market is available today. It is just not. And we are also an opportunity to make India as a skill capital of the world, where we provide skills not only for Indian companies but again for any worldwide companies. A lot of companies are shifting to India for their R&D setup itself. So I feel we are on the cusp of a fantastic growth, and these technologies should be implemented for us to leapfrog with the economies of the other countries in the world. With this, I just want to thank once again White Page Leadership for giving me this opportunity to speak today. Thank you so much.